Today I want to show you how to create a pivot table in Excel using a Mac. While Excel on a PC and a Mac can be very similar, there can be some nuances that you work through, but overall it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. So we'll go ahead and do that now. A couple different ways you can go about it. The first thing you just need to do is do Command A. Is my preferred method to do this. Command A is going to select the entire data table or wherever your cursor is. You can see it selected everything. It didn't include our column header, so I'm just going to hit Command A once again, and it's gonna be able to select those for us. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this. You can click on Insert, and you can click on Pivot Table, and then it's going to select that table financials, and it's going to ask us, do you want to create a pivot table on a new worksheet or on a new tab, or your existing worksheet where this data is? We're going to go ahead and just create it on a new worksheet. And so this is where our pivot table is located. So now it's going to give us an option to use some of our column headers to create the layout of our pivot table. The filters is going to filter down what items we're going to look at. Our rows obviously are going to be what appears on our rows. And then our columns are going to be what is listed at the top of each column. And then value is going to be the data that's filled in here. So let's say we want to look at our profit. So we're going to click on our profit, default to the sum of the profit, which is great. Let's say that's not what we want. You can double click on that and it's going to give you other options. So let's say if you want the count of your profit, instead of having your total profit amount, it's going to give you each individual profit entry. So there are 700 different lines of profit that's there. Again, that's not necessarily what we want. We just want the total. So we would do the sum. You can also do average, max, min, all sorts of different other equations there. So, but again, we're going to just stick with the sum. And let's say we want to look at our country. We want to break down by country. So we can either click on that or you can drag it. Let's say we want that in our columns. It's going to generate the column data there, but again, let's say we do want it in our rows, so we're just going to click and drag. So I'm looking at these numbers. We've got our decimals here. Let's say we don't want that. So we're going to select that column. I just did Command Shift down, select that whole data column, and let's say we want to go to a currency. So we can click on either our currency here, we can click on the drop down, and it's going to give us different currencies. Let's say we want different number types. We can click on it's general up here, but essentially just asking how we want to format it. Do you want just a general number, currency, accounting, text, whatever it might be. But again, we just want our currency. So we're going to click on that, and you can see we still have our decimal places. So then we can click on this button here. We have increased decimal. So let's say you want more decimal places. You want to get a little bit more specific on those numbers or not. You can decrease decimal, which is the button on the right here. And sure enough, we have our data. So, which is great. This is a good start on looking and seeing what data we have available by profit in each country. But let's say we want to get a little more specific. Let's say we want to look at the profit on each product in each country. We can again click on product, drag it down below country, drop that in there, and then it's going to give us a breakout of our country and then our total, subtotal, and then it's going to give us each individual product. And so that's great. This is the information that we need. Let's say it's over a year. We have all this data. Let's say though we want to get some dates or months, so that we can see trends over the month. So what we're going to want to do again is just click and drag, and then it's going to give us our monthly profit for each product in each country, which is great. It's exactly what we're looking for to understand trends of what's going on month over month. And this is why I think pivot tables are so powerful and have been so powerful and such a useful tool, is because the many ways to slice and dice data. So a couple other things that you can look at as you can change the pivot table analysis here. You can come up here to the top on the ribbon, and you've got pivot table analysis and design. Let's say you just want to change the aesthetic of your pivot table or change the way that it's laid out. So let's say we don't want grand totals. We can see we've got these grand totals down here, but let's say we don't want that. So we can turn it off for both the rows and the columns, and you'll see it disappears from the row columns and the column totals at the bottom. Let's say, you know what, we actually don't want subtotals as well. What that's going to do is eliminate all the subtotals, so you can really just focus down on the individual products for each row. So again, there's a lot of different ways to look at this and slice and dice this, which is great. Let's go to Pivot Table Analyze here. So if you need to refresh the data, change the data source, you can click on Change Data Source here and change the table if that's what you need to do. You can expand it. Let's say you've added some rows to the bottom and it's not a dynamic table. That would help you be able to capture that information. It gives you the option to move the table as well. You can click on that and then change it. Let's say we don't want it at A3. Let's say we want it at E3. We're gonna hit OK. And you can see it goes from A3 and shifts it right over to E3, which is great, exactly what we wanted to happen, which is very useful. This is, again, just a simple overview of the pivot tables and how useful they can be, how easy they are to set up. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments below, and please remember to like and subscribe to the Excel Guy. Thanks and have a great day.